Aldermen meeting. May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Wheelan.
Here.
Alderman Saley.
Here.
Administrator Stover.
Here.
Mayor Cozy.
Here.
Attorney Bob.
Here.
Alderman Sy.
Here.
Everybody join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the council report, August 12th, 2022 through September 1st, 2022. The Board of Aldermen minutes, August 16th, 2022. The Board of Aldermen executive session minutes, August 16th, 2022. Board of Aldermen public hearing minutes, August 23rd, 2022. And the Board of Aldermen special meeting minutes, August 23rd, 2022.
I actually have a couple of questions about the council report. Can somebody give me some insight into what the additional assessments that are in almost every budget from MIRMA are for, or what generated those additional assessments? There's one under administration, under
The
Hard
additional
water.
assessment from Irma was, I believe, due to salaries. And the salaries did not match up. Current salaries did not match up with what was provided earlier, I guess, in the year. And so they did an additional assessment based on that.
Okay. And then the last thing is, under the general fund, there's like 7 or 8 charges for Aim Point Pro Optic. Could you give me an idea? Is that
That's
what
ours.
those?
That's
That's
what
the
I thought.
optics for the patrol rifles.
Okay,
that were approved.
that's what I
That's
thought
the
it
same
was, but I was
question.
just like, I wonder what we bought 8 of those for. So, or however many there are. So, okay. Then I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as printed.
A second.
And roll call, please.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Wheelan.
Aye.
Alderman Saley. Aye.
Motion carries. We do not have any ordinances or resolutions. Unfinished business, where we are on the Veterans Memorial.
We're still working on that. I'm going to be working with Jason to see about trying to get the area cleared and excavated or leveled. Dana has gotten some, I guess, molding. I don't know if it's plaster or clay or whatever, some molding stuff so that she can try and do some moldings of the handprints. She's actually going to create a handprint in cement and practice first before she does it on any real handprints, just to make sure it works. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
Any bids on concrete?
Not yet, no.
The next is 151 North Lane.
I was supposed to have a meeting with Roy this afternoon, but he called and said he couldn't make it, so we're going to schedule it for later this week.
Next is new business. Discussion on the painting of fire hydrants in the city and the adopt a hydrant program.
As we've discussed in, I guess, one of my earlier administrative reports, we have roughly 700 fire hydrants in the city, of which a large number of those need to be painted. The current ordinance states that the city is to maintain and do the water flows and so on of the hydrants. However, the fire district is supposed to paint them. Come to find out that this ordinance, which was enacted in 2009, the fire district had no idea that this existed. So we met with the fire district to try and work out how we were going to accomplish this, because it obviously needs to be done. And one of the ways we did this was to bring about a program of community service, volunteers, and such like that to assist us with the painting of the hydrants, and also kind of mirroring the city of Sullivan. So the city of Sullivan has an Adopt a Hydrant program, and we thought that might be something that some of our residents or businesses might want to do. And so we developed this Adopt a Hydrant program to spur people's interest in helping us paint these hydrants. The guidelines of which are in your packet, and that's kind of where we are on the painting of hydrants.
I have a couple of comments. So I feel like the program is perfect. Like, I think it's great to beautify it now. But if we're gonna use our manpower hours to approve and inspect the painting of the artwork, and the ordinance reads that the fire department is paying for paint, I don't see why that can't be. I mean, our budget is probably just as tight as theirs. I don't see any reason why we need to go against our own ordinance and pay for the paint. We're already basically donating our manpower hours to do what their job is. And I understand they're probably just as taxed with labor and employees as we are, but I feel like it's still very fair to go ahead and run the inspection through the building department. But really, the paint for the cap is not that much. It's not gonna take that much per hydrant. I just really don't feel like it's something that should be at our expense.
And I'll add to that too, in addition to expense, I think manpower. I think a program like this is going to take a lot of management on our part, and right now we all know that we really don't have the manpower to do that. I think I agree, this is a great program. My suggestion would be to go back and visit with the fire department, tell them the program that we have come up with. I've seen some talk on Facebook. I think they would be able to get volunteers. There's an ordinance that clearly states what their responsibility is, and this program could help them achieve that end, and they could actually follow the ordinance. That's where
I agree. We all did talk about this morning. It's an awesome program. However, it should be the fire department's program to run with it, as well as cost, and take a look at something else, because we're short-staffed. We get their short-staffed, but 13 years ago, maybe if a few worked at the time, we wouldn't be sitting in this situation. If we have, I think it was another thing that came up today, if we have the paint that's there and we have community service, there's a lot of ifs in there, then maybe some of them can be touched on. But I think the program itself sounds great. I just think that the fire department should be involved.
It seems to me the firemen have more downtime than our workers, which is a good thing. You know, a fireman that's not busy fighting a fire is a good thing. And I've seen them take the trucks to the store or to a restaurant, so they can load up a gallon of paint and a brush and go to a fire hydrant and still be on call. You know, and they've got more time than our workers do.
Okay, so I'm gathering that the consensus is that we put this on the fire district's shoulders as far as the responsibility for managing and directing the program and making it happen. Is that correct?
I guess I would say if they don't get enough adoptive fire hydrant applicants, then they need to find them themselves.
Okay. I will meet with the fire department, we'll let them know that.
Public Works is requesting an ARPA funds commitment for Public Works, DNR, waste Water wastewater grant request. Grants are for $3,050,000 for wastewater, $2,040,000 for water. So the 10% match would commit $509,000 of ARPA funds to the program. If the grant is not approved, the ARPA funds would no longer be committed and could be spent otherwise. Administrator Stolberg.
This is a grant program that Jason has worked with, I believe it was Cochran.
Archer.
Archer,
Yeah.
sorry, Archer Engineering, and they developed the ARPA grant. Part of the ARPA grant was a match, and they had designated a portion of the approval process, as a matter, or the level of approval according to the amount of match. So we decided that 10% was probably a good match, and it was something that we had in our ARPA funds. And so this is something that we really need, and we thought it was worth putting in there in that grant program as far as a 10% match. Now, if by chance, for some reason, we do not get approved for that grant, then it would go back to being uncommitted. So the commitment is only to guarantee that if we do get approved for this grant and that this grant goes forward, that we will commit that $509,000 to this grant process.
Do we have an idea of when they expect to make the announcements for approval?
Is it
October 12th is the date that they're supposed to announce the
Okay.
grant winners, whatever you want to call it. October 12th is the date.
Recipients, yeah. So I just wanted to know, because I know the ARPA funds came with a deadline to spend them attached, and some of those grant processes take a while, so that's good. Okay.
Would you remind me again of the scope of this work?
Well, I think Jason could probably.
Yeah, so the scope is we'll do some work from Orchard down to Holy Trinity, and then an interstate bore to the airport, connect through the airport to the line that's on Airport Road. That would be the water. And then on the other side of town, we would extend water from High School Drive down and connect it to what's already on Neff Road. So that would make Oak Ridge subdivision a loop instead of a system that feeds in just one direction. And then the wastewater side of things is the east trunk main, which is kind of runs down by the Lone Oak Apartments and up through the industrial park. And then, so that would upgrade that to have larger capacity for the airport development. And then also going in the AB highway bore for the sewer, and then also going into the treatment plant. We would upgrade those lines going into the plant to make them larger to account for the flow of the development of the airport.
When the sewage leaves the airport, if this is done, will it stay on that side of the highway and go to the treatment plant?
Yeah, so it pumps up Airport Road and then goes under 47 and pumps up by Burger King. And then it goes to Gravity at Burger King, goes down the east trunk main to the treatment plant.
Do you have an idea of a timeline of the work completion?
I want to say 2025 was the completion, so we would know we get the money in October. They would start work on it. We've already talked, this is one of the identified projects that we have needed, so it's part of our wastewater master plan. So it's already somewhat preliminarily engineered, so we could put it out to bid sometime in 23 with construction to start, and then it would take, a couple years to get it done probably.
I'll make a motion to commit ARPA funds to fund the Public Works DNR grant.
Second.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Beal.
Aye.
Alderman Saley.
Aye.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next under new business, John Arnold has been monitoring cameras for the city for free for about 6 months now, and has agreed to do it for free for and then only agreed to do it for free for a couple of months. Other businesses are paying for the service. Administrator Stolberg and Mr. Arnold discussed this, and he will continue monitoring the 9 park cameras for us for $10 a month per camera, so $90 a month.
This is a program that was actually, Mr. Arnold volunteered his services. He has a business where he monitors security cameras for a number of businesses in the area. I think he monitors somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 cameras. He sets them up to give him alerts. So anytime there's a motion detection or light detection and various other things that these cameras can do, it sends him an alert, either a text message or an email. And he's also watching the cameras, but of course you can't watch 300 different screens and see everything. But he's been very effective in assisting the police department in curbing crime and vagrancy and various other things, people trespassing. He watches these cameras basically all night long until about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then sleeps during the day. But this is something that has helped us significantly, and even though our cameras are not as good as they could be and probably should be, he's been able to call the police department when there are people trespassing in the park, and officers are able to keep that to a minimum.
So it has seemed to be effective. He has made calls and helped us to cut down.
Yes, he's helped us greatly in catching trespassers that have hopped the fence or burrowed under the fence at Hoffman's. It's one of the businesses that he does, a couple of the storage unit areas where we've been able to catch people within there, and we have caught people trespassing in the park after hours, which has helped curb the vandalism. So it's be a wise investment for right now.
Is he asking for any type of contract, or will it just be on a month-to-month basis?
He just does it on a month-to-month basis. He said he doesn't have a contract with anyone.
He doesn't monitor these during the day, correct?
Correct.
So I'm assuming because in the Parks Department report, the graffiti was cleaned off partitions in the men's restroom twice. So I'm guessing they carried this can of spray paint into the park in the daytime and did this.
No, this actually was happening, I think it was early in the morning. This one was early in the morning.
Yeah.
And he actually did get a hit, whatever you call it, and had the police department go out there. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that the person was vandalizing one restroom when the officer was in the other restroom, and by the time the officer got to the first restroom, he was gone.
At the other end of the park, not the
Yeah.
side-by-side
Yeah.
restroom. But he's also quick to provide us with video when he has video available, brings it to the PD that we can view the video, identify the people, and then go from there. He's never been a problem with that either.
I know I spend a lot more than this amount for ADT every month, so I think it's well worth the money.
I'll make a motion to approve this expenditure for $90 a month to monitor the cameras in the park.
And I'll second.
I have roll call, please.
Alderman Beeman.
Aye.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Salem.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on our new business is discussion on the kitchen project retaining wall.
You all have a copy of Mag-I Construction's proposal on the retaining